Ladies and gentlemen, it is showtime. Please enjoy the show.
It's the corner where the Chiefs at.
Is this the passing of the torch, right? Is this what this signifies?
It comes down to that front office and what they feel is most important.
The champ is here. We've touched down from a higher plane. Why you made it here?
We always look forward to that week because it was always intense.
You know that we ain't coming back. We got you.
The man, the myth, the legend, Dante Hall. My favorite player growing up was Dante Hall. I love you guys in the show, but Dante was my guy.
Get to dashing because you done on the warfield.
It's crunch time on the court, and the NBA playoffs are your chance to score big. Whether you're riding with favorites or cheering on the underdog, every three-pointer, dunk, buzzer beater is an opportunity to win at MyBookie. Place your bets live as the action unfolds. Feeling confident? Lock in your winnings early with our quick cash-out option. Never miss a chance to turn your basketball insights into real cash. New to MyBookie? Well, sign up today with our promo code MM50 and instantly boost your first deposit. Deposit $50, and MyBookie tosses in an extra 25 smackaroos. Deposit $100 and get a $50 bonus. More action, more excitement, and more chances to win during basketball's most intense playoff season. Plus, when the game wraps up, keep the winning streak alive at MyBookie's casino, slots, blackjack, roulette, and more. The thrills never stop. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere, only with MyBookie. Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Monday Morning Tight End. I am Marcus Dash right here with our guy, our tight end, Jason Dunn. JD, how are you doing, brother?
What is going on, Marcus? I'm doing well. I am rolling, my brother. How are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm doing great. The NBA lottery just happened about an hour ago, and my Sixers, who were supposed to be the number 5 pick overall, will now get the number 3 pick overall. And, you know, the NBA odds and lottery, very shady stuff, but my Sixers, I wanted the number 1 pick, but I'll take number 3. I'm happy with that.
All right, yeah, well, shoot. I mean, number 3, it's good. That's good in the draft. I know Cooper Flag that's number 1, okay, for my Dookies, of course. So, we were talking about who's supposed to be the number 3 pick. Who they got?
Number 3 will be between Dylan Harper or Ace Bailey, both Rutgers players. Yeah, which, like we were talking about earlier, Rutgers didn't even make the tournament. So when you Rutgers. So
okay,
and my Chiefs have had good luck, or Chiefs have had good luck with Rutgers players. So maybe we'll get somebody.
But how you have number 2 and 3 projected guys and not make the tournament? How is that?
Does that come down to? That's got to be coming down to coaching, right? I mean, because both those guys put good numbers. I mean, I
guess so. It could be. Yeah, somebody is coaching. I'm sure of it. You say you're putting up good numbers. I might see those guys. I didn't see too much of Rutgers, so that's why I was sitting there saying that. So I knew you would know who would be, number 2 and 3. But yeah, man. Shoot. Other than that, man, I wonder, man, how was Mother's Day? We had a wonderful Mother's Day over here, Mother's Day weekend, and this is all to the ladies out here who may be mothers or were mothers. Happy belated Mother's Day. I know we said it on Wednesday, but I'll make it official today. Happy Mother's Day to you all. I hope you had a wonderful weekend, a wonderful Mother's Day, a lot of love, maybe some good food, and the sharing, just thoughts, and appreciation, really, appreciation. And so I brought my mom was over here, and a couple of my sisters over here as well. Of course, Susan, also too, my daughters came through, my nieces had a big little shindig over here at the house. So had a great time. So
nice. That's awesome.
Yeah, it was wonderful. And of course the fellows came through, Chad and all of them, and everybody was here, man. We was rocking. We was rocking and rolling, baby. It was rocking and rolling. So
good family time. Gotta love that. Always coming together for the moms.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let me see what's up to everybody in here. I see Sasha Ray 028, Richie Hall, G Pick is in the house. Sia McBride is here. Also to Linda Hunter. I'm the Brown, and we got I said G Pick already. So any of the ladies, if y'all seen us and we talked about it, I hope y'all had happy Mother's Day. If you are mothers, and I'm sure that, sometimes you don't even have your own children. The motherly part of like maybe your nieces and nephews, aunties to some, friends. There's a lot of ladies that deserve that distinction, okay, for the things that they do. And that nurturing part of it is something that they do a very, very beautiful job at. So not a moment spent with my mama. Well, more wonderful, Witchy. Wonderful. I'm glad you did. Okay, so tell her Happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day. So G-Pick said he grilled a filet mignon for the wifey last night. Yeah, I see you, G-Pick. Woo! Big money. That's how you do it, baby. That's how you do it. So yeah, we had a little barbecue over here, so it's good. It was good.
Yeah, we had soup over here because my mom was going through the neurovirus, so we had to adapt a little bit. We had to change it up a little bit. We're flexible people, so
Yeah.
Did some chicken noodle soup.
There you go. Gourmet chicken noodle soup, right?
Yeah. I think we did Panera soup.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, you know what? I always say this. I think every day is Mother's Day. We appreciate our mothers. Like I said, the ladies that do care for us. That's a beautiful thing. And so that can't be said enough. So
for sure. Yeah. Man, every day should be, Mother's Day, and
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So,
act like every day is Mother's Day, and make Mother's Day that much more special.
That's right. Zulu is here. What up, Zulu? Zulu's in the house. Good to see you, Zulu. Good to see you, man. So
yeah,
go ahead. I'm sorry. I was going to say, what we're going to start out the week for, Marcus? Talking about some of the Chiefs information that's going on, huh? What's some of the stories happening right now?
So tonight with our Monday shows, obviously, you guys can ask away on your questions. Obviously, you guys do that anyway. But so with our Monday show tonight, we're going to be focusing in on one of the position groups that's been making a lot of noise. Obviously, every year we always talk about the receivers since we've been doing the show. And social media, a lot of people are talking about the wide receiver room. We kind of talked about it a little bit last week, and I think we kind of foreshadowed a little bit of what we're going to talk about today. But we're going to look at the wide receiver room. So we have 13 receivers in the room right now, which is a lot of guys. A lot of guys. A lot of talent, very deep. So it seems like Veach and the staff have kind of gone the other way with it. They went from lack of talent in the wide receiver room to just getting dudes. So we'll kind of go over the wide receiver room, the locks as who we think are the locks based on what we talked about last week. And then also the fringe guys and how many do the Chiefs will keep around when we get into training camp and whatnot. I know there's some spicy names that some of you guys were going to love for us to talk about tonight. Sky Moore being one of them. I know you guys love that. The Justin Rosses. So there's going to some familiar names we're going to be talking about tonight. So it should be a good one to kind of break down the position group here. And we'll be doing this every Monday for different position groups, but we thought we'd start off with the most spicy one with it being the wide receivers and having 13 guys to talk about. So that'll be an interesting one. And I'm curious where JD is going to go with this tonight, because I know he's a big fan of some of these dudes in this room that some people aren't big fans of anymore. Right? Have their patience have run thin, but you don't give up on people that easily. So G-Pick says Sky Moore, the GOAT.
GOAT, baby.
Witchy Hall having too much talent to choose from is a good problem to have. Yes, it is. Big time.
Absolutely. Go ahead.
100%. Great problem to have. A problem that, over the last few years, we kind of have to make mid-season trades to try to get guys. But it seems like we have the talent in-house that we're going to take care of business this year with the wide receiver room. G-Pig says, do not sleep on Sky. Linda Hunter, Sky talk. Here we go. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but we're gonna get into Sky more. So if you don't like it, I don't know. Just listen to what we got to say about Sky.
Hey man, listen. Look, let's just start off the show right, okay? Sky Moore is part of the Chiefs kingdom until he's not, okay? And we're pushing for Sky this season, like everybody else is in that wide receiver room. So yeah, we're gonna have a conversation about Sky. Okay, it don't matter who it is. It's in the wide receiver room. We're gonna talk about him, right? You know why, Marcus? Hey, because he's ours. Okay, it's our guy. So we're gonna keep talking about it.
He's our guy indeed. Yeah. G-Pick says, I love any type of Chiefs talk, baby. So yeah, that's how it is.
Yeah.
Witchy Hall, I've been wrapping the whole team in protective energy all offseason. We need a healthy season.
Good.
Hell
Good.
yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
Zulu Sky, please no more. Aw. I don't think that's his middle name, but I'll have to look into that.
Yeah.
Linda Hunter, the Sky talk does not bother me, but he seems to be a hot button issue on here at times.
Well, I think where that is, Linda, is because as you see Zulu, people tend to not like what he's produced over the past few years, to the point where they don't support him. And it's a lot of negative things they say about him. It's like the things like, what have you done for me lately? And I think, with fans, when they look at some of the things or the lack of production, him being hurt or him dropping passes, like he's an easy target. That's the way I look at it. For somebody who's been in a position that played in the locker room, it's not an easy thing to do. That's why there's only a certain amount of guys that can do it. So I respect every guy that's out there on the field. And you can see me, and I'll talk about it quick. I don't mind, sitting there and saying that. So, hey, the man's putting in his work to try to get better. So I respect it. And like I said, I'm going to pull for guys as long as they're in the locker room. That's what I'm going to do. So, and I think that's why the Sky Moore talk, people have something to say. That's what it is, right? So.
Yeah, Sky Moore, by the way, does not have a middle name based on any research I did. So no middle name for Sky Moore. So please know it's definitely not his middle name. And Wiggy also says Priest JD. Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, people have a lot to say about a lot of guys. Sometimes, guys may not pan out to the potential that we thought they were going to be as far as their draft picks.
Sure.
But they can still be a piece, an asset for the team. And hopefully this is the year for Sky Moore. If not, he'll find a new place to do that if it's not in Kansas City. And sometimes different surroundings may help a player. And you've seen that many times where a guy goes somewhere else and flourishes. I mean, that kind of stuff happens a lot in the league.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's run down the gamut. Who we got?
Let's do it. All right, so we're going to begin with – so this is our full wide receiver room today. Right now, obviously, guys, we're getting to the 90-man roster, so there's going to be inflated numbers, right? So there's going to be a lot more guys on this right here than will be come, late August or whatnot. So wide receiver room. So you got Xavier Worthy, Rashee Rice, Hollywood Brown, Jalen Royals, Juju Smith-Schuster, Nico Remigio, Sky Moore, Justin Ross, Tyquan Thornton, Jason Brownlee, Elijah Badger, Jimmy Holiday, and Mac Delana to round out the entire room, JD.
Mm-hmm.
What stands out to you? Also, we're going to get into the locks and the fringe guys, but what stands out to you when you look at this roster, JD?
What stands out? Well, I say, for like any roster, you want a solid 4 guys, wide receiver, depth wise and whatnot. So you definitely got to have that on any roster. And so, we utilize a lot of, 3 wide receiver sets, multiple wide receivers. I think we got some good depth pieces. Xavier Worthy, Rashee Rice, Hollywood Brown, just got Jalen Royals, Juju Smith-Schuster, Nico, Sky, Justin Ross. So let me ask, is this your list? You just putting everybody, or this like your list you thinking one on up?
I literally just went by memory, and then I looked up to see who I was forgetting. But yeah, that's you can probably see it. The top 5 there is probably, I think, the guys who will be the locks. I think they are the top 5. I think the first 5 I thought of. But yeah, we'll get into the locks aspect. What I've noticed here, and I see Sasha says the practice squad is going to get rated this year. There's a lot of talented guys here, top to bottom. And this is why we say it's probably the, as you're looking at this list, one thing that stands out to me, I think, is the most talented wide receiver room that we've had, top to bottom, right? Kind of evenly distributed throughout the top to bottom as far as in the Patrick Mahomes era, I would say. Then on top of that, I would say there's not a lot of big body guys, which is not surprising, but it's interesting to see when you look at it, right? So you have Justin Ross, big body guy. And I'm talking about like jump ball type guys. And then Jason Brownlee is the other guy, and we got him from the Jets, and I believe he came from Southern Mississippi. But I mean, I think he actually had a few moments on Hard Knocks when the Jets were on it a couple years ago. So really, there's not a lot here with him. There's not a lot of body of work, but he's a big body guy, which it's just interesting that they kind of, the type we always talk about. It seems like they really are honing into those type of guys, and they're really not even taking that many shots on the tall, big body receivers anymore, which is interesting. They're just kind of honing in on the kind of guys they like. So those are the kind of things that stand out to me.
Yeah. Well, Taquan Thornton is another big body type of guy that we got, right? He's got good size to him, good length.
That's true. Yeah. Another 6'3". Yeah.
Who's Jimmy Holiday? I'm not really familiar with him. Where's Jimmy Holiday from?
Jimmy Holiday's the guy we talked about last week, of the La Tech receiver.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
He's about 6'1".
Yeah. Okay. Elijah Badger. That's another guy we talked about last week, right?
About 6'1" as well.
Yeah. Okay. And Mac Delena, who's that?
Interesting story about him. Mac Delena, he's a also Fresno State guy, which is also where Nico Remigio came from. Also a special teamer type of guy. So yeah, another small special team kind of gadgety kind of guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, we always said that we have a body type here, no question about it. What we trying to do? Look, the Chiefs are trying to play fast. Okay, so what we're trying to do is we're trying to outrun everybody. We're trying to get guys the ball in space and let them just fly and do their job, do their work. And so when you sit there and say right now, Xavier Worthy, Rashee Rice, Hollywood Brown, Juju Smith-Schuster, Sky Moore, I'm talking about the ones that actually have NFL experience, right? So the ones that have NFL experience, let's start with that. Xavier, Rashee Rice, Hollywood Brown, Juju Smith-Schuster, Sky Moore, Nico Remigio, and then Justin Ross. Okay. You said Jason Brownlee, but his was just Hard Knocks. He didn't make the team. He didn't make the.
I don't believe so. He was on the practice squad for a year, but I don't believe he ever actually got like any actual game time reps.
Okay. So when you're looking at it right now, NFL experience, you're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 guys, really. 7 guys, NFL experience. We're looking for something from Jalen Royals to be able to show us something. Taquan Thornton is another guy that we got here. Young dude, maybe he'll be able to show us something. So I think when you start, getting to that point, Marcus, it's all about now the competition of, the guys that's going to be here that you think is, kind of planted in where we are. And then the guys that's trying to make the team or the squad, okay, the practice squad. And we're going to need bodies. The thing is, when you have this group of guys, like the 13 of them, you're trying to find a diamond in the rough. You're trying to get something out of a guy like we did Nico Remigio the last couple of years when he was here, or, he was kind of showing himself that, he showed his value. That's what he was doing. Same thing kind of with Justin Ross. Justin Ross is another guy we've been talking about since he's been here for the past, is this his 3rd year? I think it's going on 3rd year, right?
Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah. So first year he didn't play. Second year he had the incident. And then 3rd year, this is his 4th year, I think, man.
4th year. Wow. So 4 years.
Time flies.
Time does fly. So, but we know he knows the playbook. We know he's been able to go up there and catch the football. And so when you sit there and you look at this number of guys, it's really battling out who's going to be kind of like that 7th guy. I think the Chiefs are going to probably carry 7 receivers. That's the way it's going to look. That's what you usually, try to pick up, especially when these guys are going to be a special teamers, too. So that's the thing about it, right? Jalen Royals, he returned some kicks. Did he? I think he has a returner. Didn't he have some like in his history as a returner? Or maybe I'm wrong on that.
Let me look here. Return. Yeah, he returned 9 kickoffs in his career in college.
Okay. Yeah.
So not a lot of body of work.
A lot. Yeah. So that's kind of what we're looking at right now. So if we're pulling out the 7, at least right now, okay, I say it's the guys that have NFL experience. Everybody else is trying to, cut on the roster, right? So.
Yeah, So Brownlee to 2023, he did make the team. He was a late pull up to the active roster. So he did make the team. Appeared in like 7 games, had 5 catches overall in that, then did not play at all last year. So, there is some things. I mean, yeah, some experience, but again, a lot of these guys are very, very green outside of the top guys you mentioned.
Yeah. So, Delena, is it Delena? On the screen would be nice, Demonte Green Beans. So I don't know too much about him, Demonte Green Beans. Who the guy is. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, he's another type of Nico type of body type, little fast twitch. Yeah, he's a smaller guy. I mean, obviously Fresno State has their own type of type, right? And it's the same kind of guy there. Also a returner as well, so he can do a little bit of everything there. So, I mean, I will say this: that the one that's also another thing that you can stand out here is return men. Talk about the kickoff space. You have Nico. And you have Delena, you have Jimmy Holiday. And that's pretty much it from that, I would say, right? Brashard will be a running back thing, but as far as returners, not a lot of guys who do the returning here. As far as have that in their bag, right? We said Royals had 9 kickoff returns, but that wasn't his thing, whereas that was Nico's thing and that was Delena's thing. So that's interesting. Yeah. There's not a lot of that in this room. What does that say to you that the fact there's not that many the returner types in the receiver room?
I mean, I shoot
because usually there's a lot more. Usually a lot of these guys have that in their tool bag. There's not many really. Yeah,
but I think we got with Brashard Smith. He's the one we talking about, the major who was on our show, right? True. Williams, a guy. So I don't. But yeah, you would look for more kind of guys in this room having fast twitch. Kind of fast, moving around, but I guess we got a couple of them though. We put Sky back there too. Sky went back there.
That's true. He's done it too.
Yeah. And when the point they was going to put Xavier, we know Xavier could return the punts, but I don't think they're going to try to use him as a return guy.
Yeah, I think that got scrapped big time right after Rasheed got hurt. They're like, you know what? We're using you a lot more.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Well, and also too. So outside of so I mean, Nana's asked me a question. Has Nico graduated from punt return to wide receiver? No, he's going to be, if he makes the team, he's going to be playing receiver and return man. He's not, I mean, he'll be doing both if he makes the team. Right, JD? That's going to be his.
He's definitely going to play both. So
that's his.
I just say, man, with the type of offense that we run, I think who Mike Brennan said, hopefully don't do 6. He said we don't use sometimes more than 4. I guess it depends on the game. It's going to depend on your opponent. If you might dress 6, you're definitely going to carry 7. I don't think there's no way you're going to get past that. There's no way you're just going to run with 6. You got to go with 7. Because injuries, I mean, these guys, hamstrings. So we could go through, let's look on here and look as far as the guys we were talking about, the 7, like the injuries, right? Sky's been hurt. Judu's been hurt. Hollywood's been hurt. Rasheed's been hurt.
Worthy. Remember there was a question about him playing during rookie minicamp. Remember he had that weird hamstring injury.
Right. So somebody's got to be writing in the wind to get jump on when you need to.
I mean, quite frankly, all these guys. You can point out to an injury. I mean, last year, and I think that makes the case for what you're saying as far as keeping 7. I think going through the disaster of injury problems went through last year, I think that is kind of a reason. Like, you know what? Let's pack this room up and let's take the best 6 or 7 guys. You got to. I think based on what they went through last year, I think you got to keep 6 or 7 guys. You can't be trying to make in-season trades every year to try to right the ship of the wide receiver room. If guys get hurt, you need to have a replenished resources there.
And especially talking about how difficult this offense is as well, right? And this is typical for wide receivers, kind of be hurt, hamstrings, you might do a little strain here and there, but guys got to be ready and prepared because guys do go down. Like you said, it's true. So we'll just have to see, we'll have to see, man. So what do you think? What do you look at right now as a depth chart for here?
The depth chart. You're talking about the guys who I think are going to make the team.
Yeah, I say that now, but what do you where you rate them at this moment. Okay.
So here are the locks that I think. This is basically what we talked about last week. And this is not wide receiver 1, 2, 3, 4. This is who I think is definitely going to make the squad. And I only have 5 as of right now, looking at the room right now as 5 locks. I agree with you. 7 will be kept. I just don't know who the next 2 are. But these are the 5, and I would say all healthy. Rice is the 1, Worthy the 2, Hollywood Brown 3, Royals. Juju 4 to start the season off with, and Royals at 5 to start the season off with. That's what I would say that the 5 would be.
Okay.
Thoughts on that?
Yeah, no, I think that's a good 5. And I would say probably that's a good 5. It's a good 5 right there. So I'm sure the Royals, pretty fast. So.
And that's, and not even fact. This is not even factoring in Rashee Rice if he can make it, if he can come back to start the season. The suspension. This is not factoring injury. This is factoring he's healthy from injury, like everyone's saying he is. All the reports are, and the fact that there's no suspension. Let's say no suspension. This is who I think will be the 5 guys out there week 1, definitely. Now the other 2, that's where we kind of get the conversation. But look at the locks here. I think you have a mix of some of the guys who are green, right? The Jalen Royals is obviously a rookie. Xavier Worthy's 2nd year. Hollywood Brown and Juju bring that experience. Guys who have been around the block for a little bit. But Hollywood's 2nd year on this team, first full year. So that's one thing too. And then Rashee Rice, he's a guy who's kind of, and again, you can also make the argument that he's still pretty green too, right? 2nd year, he only played 3 games in his 2nd year, or four games, however many it was before he got hurt. He's coming back for his 2nd full season. So really, like, Juju and Hollywood are the elder statesmen of this room, and really Juju's the only elder statesman in the room, and which is why last week after we had that conversation where you were like, no, Juju's definitely a lock on this team, and I'm like, okay. And I thought about it as I was looking at this list, I'm like, yeah, you need to have Juju, because otherwise you have a bunch of guys who have not played 2 full years in this system.
Right.
And that's scary.
Yeah, it is. It sure is. Shoot, that's and then just having that type of leadership, the veteran presence, man, it changes things. It really does. Like I said, last week, because if you have the wrong veteran in there, or maybe a guy that doesn't have that type of experience, shoot, things do get a little ornery, a little wrong, but. Yeah, I just, for me, it would be hard to cut a Juju Smith-Schuster, especially with this roster, these guys. I'm not saying that these guys are not talent, but Juju Smith-Schuster brings something else to the table that these other guys just don't have, right? And part of it is the grit, the experience, and all those different things. He knows how to get things done. He knows how to get open. Not only to mention that, but also too, Marcus, I said Juju Smith-Schuster is a blocker. Does a hell of a job of that. You know who does a hell of a job of that? Sky Moore. Scott Moore does a good job of that as well. So I would say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Number 6 would probably be Sky Moore. Sky's in at number 6.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Shoot. Why wouldn't he be?
Now, this is based on, as of right now, as before we're seeing everybody else. This is like, and let me ask you this: a guy who's been around longer, he's going to get the leg up, regardless of how he's finished the season. He has been injured the last 2 years to end the season. Guy like that gets the leg up on the younger guys, right? Like he's getting first to get the reps, and then it becomes where the coach will then put the depth charts out. Then then that's when you kind of see the revolving door and the kind of the different cycling of groups and whatnot.
Yeah. Well, look, Scott Moore's been here, and even though people don't see his production as what it should be, what they expect it to be, right? That's why they all are on him. I think we still need to remind people. This guy in 2022, he, had 33 receptions, and the year after that, he had 38. Last year he had 3 before he got hurt. So he has production here. So if we start looking on this roster as far as like who's people on here, Sky Moore's got more than Nico Remigio and Justin Ross put together. That's the reality. So we can't dismiss what he's done with the Chiefs. So he's contributed to helping the guys win the Super Bowl. Yeah, people might not like him because he's a second-round pick, and that he's a second-round pick for a reason. And you know what? The coaches, they trust him. If they didn't trust him, he wouldn't be here. He just wouldn't. That's the way I look at it. And so for them, they know if a guy's having a difficulty, they want to say, okay, look, we're going to give him a chance and opportunity. But as far as he can run routes. We know he can catch the football. We've seen that. He's got a bigger kind of body to him. He's an athletic guy. So I think for us, and at least for me, I know I'm always waiting for him to have a breakout season. That's what I'm looking for a guy like that. I mean, he's a high draft pick for a reason, man. He's a second-round pick for a reason. And so these other guys, when we sit there, we start talking about it. Nico, I think he had like 2 catches, maybe, last year. You know, he had a couple of returns, and it was great for him. Justin Ross, he might, how many catches Justin Ross had here?
In general, maybe like 4 or 5 from the year before. He didn't get much playing time last year.
Okay, so that's my point. My point is, it's not the production everybody wants him to be, right? And it's sure not the production he wants to be either, and I'm sure the Chiefs either. But he wants to be able to get more. But we have seen him produce. He's caught balls here, right? So we kept what's the name around Watson for a while, quite some time. It ain't like he was, catching 70, 80 balls a year. Okay.
Yeah.
But he was a solid player. He was a solid player. So
you're putting Sky Moore in your lock? Or that's so. Just
no, I think so.
Wow.
Yeah. I don't know why it's wow. I just gave you all the reasons why.
No, I get it. No, I guess I'm surprised a little bit. I guess we'll look into the fringe guys. I would say because I have these guys as the 100% 5 locks. Because I guess let me change that a little bit. The wow, I would say I wouldn't be surprised if he does make the roster, but I would say he's probably of. I wouldn't put him at a lock right now. I wouldn't put my money on him saying he's a lock right now. These are guys I gotta put my money behind. Is what I would say.
I got you. Okay.
So yeah, let's go with the fringe guys then.
Yeah. Oh, your fringe guys.
Yeah. Yeah. The other 8, the other 8 outside the 5.
All right. Okay. Let me start here with this. Show me another guy on here who's caught 33 balls, 38 balls in the NFL. Name him on this list.
Ooh, Tyquan Thornton, maybe.
Tyquan Thornton is caught 38 balls in the NFL.
I believe he. I mean, let me see.
One season.
No, his career. No, 22 is his highest.
Okay.
But I would say with this though, well, that's the thing. This is why we got to see how training camp plays out. But I would say as far as from it depends what they want to do that 6 and 7 spot, right? If they want to go for a guy who's got more potential that we haven't seen yet, then I would think you go with Tyquan Thornton or an Elijah Badger type of guy, or Nico Remedial. They say, hey, we haven't really seen much of Nico yet, but from we did see that little sample size last year, let's kind of dive into that a little bit and kind of let Sky Moore go. I'm just saying, as far as these other guys, but as of right now, I see what you're saying. Sky has a leg up on these guys because of familiarity with the system, and he's been there longer than the other guys. But it's just that they want to take the chance on the potential of some of these other guys.
I mean, look. Potential is great. Okay, it's one thing to speak about. Okay, it really is. And guys are going to get opportunity to show what they can do. And if somebody beats a guy out, they can beat a guy out. Okay, we've seen this before. My thing is, if we're just going based off the history, right, the body of work, this is that would be the list for me as far as the top 6 and 7. Who do you put number 7? Would that be Sky or would that be Nico or Justin Ross? It would be who's number 7 on that? And then everybody else, how do you move them around? Okay. Everybody else is trying to this is a long shot to make the team. Neff says there, potential can't hurt you. Yes, it can. Yes, it can. We've had conversation and talks about dudes that they've drafted that, have potential, this and that. I'm talking about first round picks and stuff. The guys get cut and released. And these things do happen. They do happen. And I think it's really on the coaches and how they feel about a guy that they've deemed worthy or necessary to be here. What is his skill set? What does he bring to the table? What kind of guy is he around the locker room? All those things do matter, right? We talked about character and all those different things. Yeah, all those things come into play. So the thing is, I don't know enough about the other guys out here, right, to make that determination like, oh, yeah, this guy right here is going to make it and all that. This is to be, decided just to see. So, yeah, a guy that has been a second-round pick, he's going to be thrusted ahead of guys that are young, sure.
Yeah, and to the potential can hurt you, to Chad's point, I think that's also kind of been the reason why people are so kind of down on Sky Moore, because he was a second-round pick. And like, oh man, he's got so much potential. Second round pick. He's supposed to be doing more than 38 catches. He's supposed to be doing more than what he has done so far. And I guess that's kind of where a lot of people have gone with the Sky Moore. The talk about him is that like, okay, well, time's a wasting here. I mean, what's like, why can't we have Nico getting those reps that we were getting the Sky Moore at the beginning of the season? Because he, with the amount of playing time he has gotten, he hasn't really done much with it. And that's kind of where I think a lot of people are heading with it. And that's why for me personally, I'd like to see what some of these other guys do have. And of course, this is all going to play out during training camp. We're going to see what these other guys are made of. And obviously they're going to keep the best player, but that's where I guess kind of like where a lot of people are going with the whole Sky Moore, like kind of being like, kind of wash their hands with Sky Moore, because we have given him plenty of opportunities and he hasn't really showcased, I guess. I mean, because I'll say this, we talk about the receiver room, right? How the guys had a lot of injuries. And he's also been one of those guys who's had the injuries as well. But like, we've been wanting some guys to step up for the last few years. And like, Sky was healthy during some of those moments where some of these guys were hurt, and he never really answered that call either. So that's kind of,
So I say this, they always say perception is reality. I say perception is that person's reality. And I think some of the fans, their perceptions is their reality. It's not the reality to the coaching staff. It's not. The reality is he's played a lot of games here. He's been in the lineup. He's been in the rotation. Sky Moore has played in games to catch balls, to catch first downs. Like, that's the reality. And so what people perceive what things are may not necessarily be what's going on in practice. I mean, the coaches have been around, like I said, for a reason, right? I mean, if that was the case, they would have removed him a long time ago and pushed him out. And so that's why I say, like, when I'm sitting over here, and I'm always going to defer to the coaches. I'm always going to do that. So if the coaches probably know better than the fans, which I'm sure they do, because they know a guy, they know what he can do. Maybe they sit over there like, man, geez, like we're not understanding why he's not catching the football, why he's having a hard time. And so for somebody that's played the game before, I know a guy could get in his head. He could get in your own head, man. And start, like I said, fighting the ball and maybe not feeling like you're as good as you were, or doubts start creeping in. And the thing is, everybody comes in and jumps on him. But even so, Nico Remigio, Nico's been here, 2 years already, right? So Nico's been able to come in and kind of show what he's been able to do. He was able to kind of get on the roster last year. He showed a little bit on, the return, showed a little bit on preseason. But at first, it wasn't enough to kind of keep him here. It wasn't enough to keep him on the roster. He was on the practice squad. They moved him up. Hey, it's all about, man, what you do with your opportunity. Same thing. Justin Ross, Justin Ross is another kind of a head scratcher to us, right? He kind of a big body. We see him come in. He gets kind of in that trouble, or at least, the little bad rap. And then all of a sudden, he's thrusted in the back. And he looked like he was coming along. Looked like we had a role here for him. And then all of a sudden, you would think, okay, he's out of the doghouse, right? Justin Ross is out of the doghouse. There's been enough time for that. Now he has opportunity to come play. And then all of a sudden, it doesn't come to fruition. And we sitting over here, there's us and other people come on here, man. Justin Ross, where's he at? Oh, Justin Ross season, or here's the stands and all of this, and all these things people
rosters.
Yeah. So is that's what I'm saying. That perception that we have about a player may not necessarily be the reality. So
yeah, and that's the thing too. Like, I know a lot of people are done with the Sky Moore thing, and I would say there's probably still more Justin Ross fans than there are Sky Moore. But I'll say the same kind of argument that you have with Sky Moore, right? It's like they're keeping him around for a reason. Same way, yeah. Ross may not be on the active roster. He may be pulled off the practice squad, back to roster, all this stuff. They are keeping him around for a reason. We may not know. We haven't seen it, right? And we haven't seen it for either one of those guys. I don't think either one of them have played their potential. Obviously, Ross is a different kind of thing because he was an undrafted guy. And actually, you can make the argument, too, that because of all the highlights and the stuff that Ross did in college, where he was supposed to be that first-round guy before he got hurt, people have expected that first round receiver to flash in our team. And I think that's also hurt his potential as well, where it's like, oh, I'm done with Ross. I'm just talking about some fans are saying they're done with him. They don't want to hear about him anymore. Too much hype. It's like, really, he was a UDFA. Like, him making the team, him being on the practice squad, that's still a big deal for him because, there was a chance of him not playing football ever again. And all of a sudden he makes the team and then, has the arrest or whatever. And then, we haven't seen really much from him since. He got his number taken away with D-Up game, went to practice squad and then I think he got activated a few times, but then practice squad. We never really saw him this past year. So I think both of them have hurt the potential aspect for both of them has hurt them in a way. One being a second round pick and one being a guy who was supposed to be a top first round pick until his injury that happened in college. I think, both have hurt them, but the team keeps both those guys on the team for a reason. And that's something that we got to kind of, trust in Veach, trust in Reed, trust these guys for keeping them around. But I will say now that what we didn't have before is the fact that we have 13 dudes deep and there's a lot more competition than we've had in the past, which is why it's going to be very tough to secure these last 2 spots. And I don't know who it's going to be, but I think the 6 and 7 spots going to be very tough just because we've rounded out the room so much better than we have before.
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's always like that. It's like that every single year. That's the way I look at it. And I've seen things happen when the guys have come in, and I'm talking about guys that had prestige and had experience, had catches, been on one team and came on, whether when I was in Philly or into Kansas City, and then all of a sudden they don't make the squad. You wonder like, why? How come a guy didn't make the squad? And there's, it's different reasons why guys don't. And so, like we talk about, we get maybe a little thing out of practice. Justin makes a hell of a play, right? Oh, look at that, man. Ross go. Shoot, the rest we don't even know if he's getting the right steps down. Okay, but he gets a chance, he gets opportunity. We thought he was going to be able to come back. The medical was keeping him off, right? It was never his ability. We knew he was a talented guy, right? It was always the medical for him, for Justin Ross. Same thing for Nico. Nico was like, man, just the consistency. I watched me and Neff. Matter of fact, Neff is on here. We was watching the game when they played Houston in the playoffs. And Nico takes the return, man. He takes it, and all of a sudden, he fumbled it. The guy goes on the side, throw the helmet, and all those different things. I'm just like, man, it's a hell of a return. But shoot, at the end, that's a fumble.
Yep.
It's like, hey, man, like you got to watch every little thing. And the dude made it just good play. You just ask him to hold on to the football. Those things factor in. We're not at practice every single day. I'm sorry. We're just not. And Witchy said it best. Like, fans think we are the ones to make a decision who gets the nod. It's just not the fact. It's not true. So we have our own opinions about these things. Andy and those guys have their own. They know these guys more intimately than we ever will. Like I said, personality-wise, what they're doing out in practice, how many reps they're getting, how many balls they're catching. Who's to say that these other guys might not be popping off their hands in practice? So that's my point. That's my argument on some of these things when people say this. And I wipe my hands clean of a guy. Okay, that don't mean nothing. What does it mean that you wiping your hands clean? You're not the GM. You're not Andy Reid. You ain't making none of these decisions, right? Neither am I. I'm not making any of these decisions. I can say, I'll wipe my hands clean. This guy ain't going to be no good. Heck, I can stand on a table for Justin Ross, Nico Remigio, Sky Moore, Juju, and all those guys. And none of those guys might not make the squad. None of that matters, right? The only thing that matters in the NFL is production, okay? That's it. They want to make sure you can produce. They make sure that you have a value that's added to the team that they can win with, okay? And guess what? Hey, boys and girls, you don't display any of that. You don't display any of those things, you're not going to be around that long, okay? And so guys that do get drafted, yes, you have a longer, leash to do things, and yeah, because they invest the money in you. And so somebody who said that, and I agree 1,000% on this. Let me see.
This one, we need to acknowledge that things Moore does instead of being overly critical and putting hype into players like Ross, Prince, and Nico.
Oh, no, that's a good one. I didn't get to see that one. Oh. So we need to acknowledge the things Moore does instead of being overly critical and putting hype into players like Ross, Prince, and Nico. Yeah, but I think you could be I think overly critical is what you're saying. I agree with that. 1,000%. And so the problem is we're not in the locker room. I keep reiterating that. We're not in the locker room. We're not on a practice field. We don't know. We don't see it. We're not in meetings. We don't know any of those things. And so when I do hear, not just me, but I hear Andy Reid get on the table for Sky Moore. I see, Connor Embry. He'll say something about Sky Moore, his catching ability. He seems to do everything right to go and get out there and start doing the things, right? So I think that's part of the problem. Melly Matrix is the one I was looking at. Says Sky probably will make it. It's his last year on the contract, and it would probably give him another shot if he doesn't perform, just not renew the contract next offseason. He looks out for players. He does. And he's going to, he's going to buy into a guy. As long as you see the guy's bought in to what he wants it to be done. And so that's going to happen. That's going to happen. Heck, we gave, what's the name of the chance, an opportunity?
Tony?
Yeah. Kadarius Toney. Now he wants to be a rapper. So,
Yeah. I mean, he was another guy who had the experience over a lot of the other dudes on the roster.
First round pick.
Yeah.
Yeah, first rounder. So.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be interesting, nonetheless, to see how, because I mean, like you said, Andy's going to give a longer leash to the guys who've been drafted. But again, if we see some of these other younger guys who come in and flash their potential, then it's a performance-based business, right? If Sky's doing what he's doing, but then there's a new guy who comes off, one of these, Jimmy Holiday, Elijah, whoever it is, right? If they show that they can do what he can do and more, and then some, then obviously, they're going to go with performance. That's why it's a whole trust in Veach, trust in Reed thing. They want to win. They're going to go with the guy who's going to give the best shot at winning. And, if they can do things that Sky Moore does, they're going to go with that guy. So it's
1,
one of those things.
Yeah, 1,000%. Pono said Nico has return potential. Sky and Justin Ross don't bring anything. Keep your eyes on Badger. It's just saying they don't. That's completely untrue, Pono. Completely untrue. But, like I said, there's a perception right there to people's reality. That's what they think. That's his perception. So.
Well, it's a lot to what you say too, as far as we don't see a lot of these things, right? Because we're watching from afar, and I remember last year is something that they did talk about. They kind of hinted at it when they did their pressers after training camps and after practices. Justin Ross had a hard time with the playbook, right? Getting lined up in the wrong spots. We saw that a few times during preseason games where they had to call timeouts because you saw Ross had emotion, didn't know where he was lined up, looked to the side, kind of shrugged his shoulders. Andy call a timeout, pissed off. And you're like, oh, okay, that's what people were talking about during training camp. And you saw that kind of play out during a game. And while Ross did have some highlight plays during not just training camp, but he had some highlight plays in preseason against Jacksonville. I remember he had a couple nice catches. One that was called back for a holding penalty, and then one that was a nice play that he had. But you saw some of these things play out, oh no, okay, that's what we're missing, right? He's making these flashy plays that we can see, but we're also not seeing that, he's getting lined up in the wrong spots. He's been here for a couple of years now. You should know these things by now. And that's what's okay, those are the certain nuances that we don't see, but all we see is a flashy catch. It's oh man, this guy should be playing, right? Yeah. And I'll say I fall victim to that for sure. Even I read these reports, but you see these flashy plays, you're oh, well, that should supersede all the other stuff, but it doesn't.
No, it doesn't. And it can't. It's about being competent in your job. You got to know what you're doing because it's never about you. That's why football is the greatest sport to me ever. It's a team sport. It's the last true team sport out there. Everybody has to do their job. You got to do it correct because if a guy's out of place, then you're messing up 3 or 4 other guys in the route running. The scheme wise, okay, whatever Andy and Nagy is putting together, it's hey man, you need to be here. I'm not talking need to be here 6 yards. You had to be at 10. Why did it have to be at 10, coach? Because you got to influence the safety. Why you had to influence the safety? Because we got a guy running over top of him. If you don't influence him, he'll fall back on this guy. So that's little things like that, nuances to it, right? And I'm not sitting there saying that. I mean, you're making a point that was the reason Justin Ross, right? I'm sure there's other guys that get lined up wrong. We probably don't even know it, making the call. Pat might say, come over here a little bit more, or, he'll talk to a guy maybe after the play. everybody's going to mess up a little bit, right? You ain't going to have 100% like it's, untarnished. But the thing is, if there's enough of these laws in, thought and all those different things that will affect the play, man, we can't have a guy like that. Look, I don't want to say no names, okay? And every time I have a conversation like this, Marcus, I always have this thought of this guy in my mind because I'm like, this dude was so talented. I'm talking about ridiculous talented. But the problem was he couldn't grasp the playbook. It was just hard for him, and he was just kind of messing up. And so when you mess up the flow of the game and what you're trying to do, because in our philosophy, we was, and every offensive coordinator is going to be like this. But Al Saunders was like, be where you're supposed to be when you're supposed to be there. He used to reiterate that message all the time. Be where you're supposed to be when you're supposed to be there. Okay? So that meant in meetings, on the football field, when you're running a play, if you're going to go get chow, didn't matter what it was, you're supposed to know your job and do it to the top T. You know what I'm saying? You can't be incompetent in what you're doing. If you do, it's going to mess up. And another thing you used to say, don't fool the quarterback. Don't fool him. If I'm asking you, requiring you to be at 14 yards, you can't run 10. Sorry. You can't do it. That's fooling the quarterback because the quarterback's throwing on time and he expects you to be somewhere in a spot and you're not there. The only one can get away with that, Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes. Because they're on a whole different wavelength, right? And they know while looking at him like, hey, man, I can make his adjustment. And he's cool with that. The other guys, no, you don't have, you ain't earned them stripes just yet. You can't do that. You got to do what we ask you to do, young fella. So that's why I think my perspective is a whole lot different from everybody else's because I play the game. I know exactly how like when you're in meetings, how detailed everything is. And you get called out in front of everybody. And everybody knows too. And guess what? There's guys waiting in the wind like Taquan Thornton, Jason Brownlee, Elijah Badger, Jimmy Holiday, Matt Delina. They are all sitting there waiting like this guy right here hadn't figured it out. He ain't got it right. So that is my end. That's my chance and opportunity. And guess what? Coaches are waiting for that. Nico Remigio has been waiting in the wind, right? He's been waiting for his opportunity just to get in there, just to show what he's been able to do. And he's kind of taking advantage of it, and it's good for him. Because guess what? He's going to be considered to be on this roster. Shoot, probably trying to get a bigger piece of what he had last year. So that's what I'm saying. When I'm sitting there having these conversations, I remember guys that were very talented, like could play on any team in the league. But sometimes you ain't grasping the playbook, man. You're going to mess everybody else up. It's the truth. Shoot, you the quarterback. Look, okay. Hey, everybody understand. Marcus, okay, that sucker can sling the ball around, okay? If you haven't seen Marcus play ball, he can sling the ball around. Now, Marcus, there are certain plays that y'all run, correct? All right? You expect the dude to be where you ask him to be, running a particular play, right? Now, I'm sure you do have a little bit of leeway to run somewhat in the flag and stuff like that. But, like, hey, man, what you doing? Like, somebody's like, oh, my fault. I was running something else.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, much lower level, but yeah, I mean, for a quarterback, it does. I mean, it's obnoxious, and of course, the quarterback's annoyed by continuous missteps on the routes, where the kind of the lineup of the formation or whatnot, and that's got kind of all being like off, right, and needs to be adjusted. Yeah, that can be obnoxious, of course. I mean, we're talking on a low 5-on-5 flag football level. Forget about how it is on the NFL level, right? And that's 10 other guys that you're messing with there, not just the quarterbacks throwing him off there.
Mike Brennan has a question. He says, as a dude watching the game from the couch, it's a head scratcher to me why you keep a player that takes 0 to 6% of the game stat, 6% like one snap. Could be a little bit more, but you might just need that guy on that play. You might just need that guy on that particular play. He just looks great on this play. There's certain guys for particular things. And if I have a Juju Smith-Schuster who is a much better blocker, I'm not going to expect, Xavier Worthy to go in to go play this, block his. No. Xavier, take a backseat over here. Juju, is yours, okay? Or Sky or somebody like that I know is going to block in this position. And so if he has to just be on certain plays, It happens like that because when you're writing scripts, Mike, you got to make adjustments on your scripts too, right? So if you do your first 15 or 25, I think Annie does, depending on the situation and where you are in the field, things change. You might want to run a different play. So what you do is go back to, what what you have blueprinted before on the first 25 and try to pick it back up. But there's certain guys that you want on particular plays, run particular things. So even if you have that guy on and he's just running in to take over this one play, 1 or 2 snaps, they might just need just for that. Okay. And so they try to factor in all these different things in. Some guys just might even need a break. So if Hollywood Brown needs a break or Rashee Rice needs a break on this play or 2, when it's a run play, get him out of here. Come on, Rashee, take a break. You don't need to run down here. So that's why.
Makes sense. Yeah, different players for suited for different things, right? Yeah. I will say towards the end of last year, the variance and the kind of the way they did the snap counts, like D-Hop snap counts made no sense. Even when we got to the playoffs, we were like, oh man, we're saving them up, right? The whole snap count round pick thing, okay, that's off the table now. We had the playoffs, and we still didn't get to see him that much. It was like, what? What's going on here?
Yeah, you say, hey, is his knee hurting him, or what's going on? That's what I'm thinking. Man, is he injured? Is something happening? Is something going on? So,
and Hollywood snaps, we thought we were going to see a lot more of him because he said he was 100% healthy, and that didn't happen either. So it just, and a lot of people thought he wasn't going to come back to the team for that reason, but obviously he's back, but that's why I was like, it just kind of made, there was no, we talked about this a lot last year. There was no real rhythm to the offense last year, and that kind of played out within the snap counts that we saw, and there was no rhythmic thing there was no rhythmic rotation even.
Yeah. In some series for sure. We thought it was like, wait a minute, what are they doing? What's going on, right? What's the game plan? What are they trying to attack? So yeah, man, we just don't know what's going on, behind the scenes. Those guys they all got it mapped out. Who they want to play, who's going to get some reps, and they'll talk about it too. Like, hey, look, I want to get him in for a few reps to see what he can do. It may just be a couple plays, and this is how we talk. This is how we talk in the room as coaches. Okay, we want to see a guy. We're going to get him a few reps, and so somebody who's coached before, when you try to get a guy in rotation, sometimes it's hard to get him in. And sometimes like, man, hold on, I'm gonna find a place for you. Don't worry about it. Come on in. Come on over here. And it's hard to get a guy in, man. If you're in a rhythm or you're not in a rhythm, right? It doesn't happen like that. God, all right, man. Just wait for the next series. So
you said Sky was 6 for you. If you had to make a guess as right now, who'd be the 7th guy based on this list here?
Probably Nico.
Yeah, familiarity.
Yeah, or if Taekwon, if they're sitting there saying, "Hey, man, we love what he does," kind of the big body guy, would he supersede Justin Ross? Okay, just Ross been kind of our big body guy that we've been talking about, but does Taekwon take over that? Just I don't know. Time will tell. Too early for it right now.
I would say Taekwon, he's 6'2", he's a couple inches shorter than Ross. He's not really like a go up and get jump ball kind of guy like Ross is. Okay. I believe Taekwon's much faster than Ross, so he's kind of a different type of. He's a bigger body guy in theory, 6'2", 180, but he's not really much of a jump ball kind of guy. But body size wise, he's a big body guy, but he's more of a speedster kind of type.
Well, I told you who we should. We might want to turn that job over to. Might want to turn that over to the skyscraper and cleats, those tight ends, those jokers that do it all, baby. How about that, huh? There's a little tight end love for the night. Yes, sir.
They have some guys over there you can do that with.
Yes, we do. We sure do. So, but Justin Ross, look, we know he's talented, man. We've been wanting to see him. We, for the things that we have seen of him, we want more. We yearn for more, and just for whatever reason, it just hadn't come to, to fruition, man. Hadn't.
I mean, look, if what a lot of the reporters who were there at training camp said that he was having problems with the whole the playbooks, kind of grasping that being lined up, a lot of that miscommunication type stuff, and you see it play out during a game, and say okay, but they keep him around though because at least he's got that one, like you said, there's some guys who have the talent they can't grasp the other part of it. Hopefully in this year he can grasp another part of it and he puts it all together. And same with Sky Moore, he puts it all together. They all put it all together in this year, and
So what reporter said that? Do you remember?
I believe Matt Derrick said it. I believe the Airhead Pride guys said it as well, that there was multiple times throughout multiple public training camp days where they had to call a timeout for practice, and whether it was Nagy or Reed going up to Ross to talk to him about alignment.
Wow.
Yeah, and we saw that play out during the game, and I remember one of the beat reporters had mentioned during that Jaguars game when they called a timeout, and you could see Andy was pissed off. Someone was like, "Oh, that's what we're seeing. That's the kind of stuff we're seeing at training camp that's being played out now in a game." And that to me was like that was the first time I had seen it. Right? I didn't see it during. I didn't go to training camp, but seeing that, I was like, "Oh, okay. Oh, so there's smoke. There's some smoke, there's fire." So
yeah.
But again, that's stuff that some guys can put it all together, and we're going to see here in this year if he can put it all together. And obviously, we know what he's capable of, so he could do that. Same with Sky Moore. And then there's a lot of these young bucks, the Elijah Badgers of the world. What can these young bucks do? What can Tyquan Thornton do for his first year in Kansas City coming from New England? So it's going to be interesting to see the battle there for those 6 and 7 spots.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Millie Majors Tyquan is speed. Yes, he is. He's a fast kid. Gonna get to G Pick here. Thanks to the contribution, brother. There you go, buddy. There you go. You're gonna get your bell here, buddy. You're gonna get your bell.
Hey,
there you go. There you go. The Skymore cowbell, baby. Appreciate you, buddy.
So training camp will sort it all out. Yes, it will, Witchy. Yes, it will. So Demetrio Spencer, I'm not sleeping on Sky Moore yet. No, don't. No, so it's going to be some good competition, man. If you have a chance, an opportunity during the off season to practice with Patrick, why wouldn't you do it? That's why I thought, like, as far as like Darius Toney, like that was like one of the things, like, man, why aren't you taking this opportunity to do those things? And so, hey.
I mean, yeah, that was the weird thing, and that was also something that played out too as far as the voluntary mini camp stuff. Remember we talked about that. He wasn't showing up to the voluntary stuff, and the other guys were going to these things. And saying, okay, that's interesting. And then obviously we saw what happened, right? He obviously didn't love football enough. Yeah, he's a rapper now. So
yeah, well, he thought he loved football enough. He thought that what he did was enough. Some dudes think that. Some dudes think what I'm doing is enough. I don't have to show up for this particular thing. I'm going to take my time off and not put in the extra work. Okay. Noted. We got you. All right. Yeah. Have a good time over there. Have a good time. We see you during training camp. And you know what? The coaches are back there like this the whole time. Yep. Not coming to workouts. Gotcha.
Well, and that's the thing that, I mean, you and I both played, I didn't play your level, right? But like we both played high school and college football, right? We always saw guys who were athletic enough, and some could do that. They could get by with like, oh, they're athletic enough. They could get by with missing weight sessions, missing this sessions. But when you get to your level, the NFL level, it's like you can't do that anymore. That stuff, the days of that are done. You can't just get by off being the athletic guy.
Yeah, because they don't have to pay you no money, and you got guys right there waiting in the wind to take your job. So you better be on point every chance you get and every opportunity. And if you don't, guess what? That's going to be a mark against you. Sorry, reality. That's what it is. So it's like sometimes when you hear something is a voluntary camp, right? It's a voluntary camp? Okay. Try not to show up. It's voluntary. Don't show up and see if it ain't a little mark against you. Coach will be looking at you a little side-eyed like, you come back. Hey, Coach. Hey, how you doing? How was your little vacation? We seen you over there off of in the Caribbean doing something. You okay? All right, good. All right. Hey, somebody get in before. Hey, Coach, Hey, you stay right here. You stay right here, okay? You still on vacation. You still on vacation. We want you to heal from your vacation. We cover. We sending somebody else out there. Ha! That's the way it work, baby. That's the way it work.
Yes, because you got a lot of guys who aren't going on vacation. They're working their butts off to get that job that you got. So, yeah,
Yes,
I mean.
Yes, sir. You better believe it. You best believe it. That's why them jokers are sitting over there sending those videos with the workout. Obviously, we want other people to let you know you're working out, but also, too, the coaches and everybody else want to see it, too. Like, you putting in some hard work. So, somebody said that he was making rap videos during the offseason. He probably was. Maybe that's why he's doing the rapping now. So, hey, more power to him, man. Hope he's successful. Sure, hope that joker blows up.
Well, remember that one? I remember we talked about the show. He did. He went and bought a motorcycle. Like, remember he posted on Instagram when he's going to get some motorcycle at some shop, and then instead of going to practice, he was doing that. It was one of the voluntary days he missed. He was getting a motorcycle. I remember that because we talked about it on the show.
Oh, I think you did remember. I could somewhat remember that.
But I mean,
hey, buy motorcycles. Okay, we got you.
Yeah, and you wonder why he didn't make the team in the end.
Right.
Yeah. Kevin Morris.
Kevin Morris, appreciate you.
Appreciate you, buddy.
Take care.
Appreciate you, dog.
Mm-hmm. His rap name is Young Joker. He choked out a girl not too long ago, so I call him Young Choker. You silly G-Pick.
Yeah, young Joker.
Young Joker. Young Joker. Yeah.
Like Joker, but with an A.
I got you. Names, man. It's always young something. What's up with the young? Y'all just won't get. What's up with the young?
I don't
it's
know.
Always young something, right? Always this, man. You always got young something rapper. Young this, young that, young this, young that.
At some point, you're gonna get old, right? So, I mean, gotta...
Yeah, just give me your name. You ever grown? It's always young something. Little Bow Wow, little this, little that, little this, little that, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. So I don't partake in any of this silliness right now. This pushed out anyway. Silly stuff, man. You know me, man. You got to give me some of the dudes that's out there that's lyricists. I love lyricists. I love guys that's out there spitting some bars. You got to have some bars, something that's clever, something that's deep for me to listen to. So,
Stu says that Joker is a joker.
Hey, that's a fact, Stu. The Joker is a joker. And Joker is a joker. Wrap it up on the field.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, that does it for us on this Monday night show reviewing the wide receiver room. Nice conversation. I know a lot of people are going to be, Rakeem. There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay. Right about time. Now we talking.
Let's go.
ODB. There we go. Hey, y'all spitting. There we go. There we go.
So on Wednesday, obviously a big day for the NFL world is the schedule release day, which I believe everything releases at 7:00. So it'll give us enough time, about an hour, to kind of review and study the schedule. So then at 8:00 or 8:15, when we come on here, Eastern Standard Time, we will discuss the schedule, the biggest takeaways from the schedule release. And also I'm in talks right now with one of the receivers that was on that list who may be coming on here Wednesday night for a short little interview to talk about what he's learning so far and how he feels about being in Kansas City. That receiver, I'm in talks right now. Hopefully he comes on Wednesday night. It'll be Jimmy Holiday, the La Tech receiver. He says he might have time to come on. If not, we'll get him on at some point. But Jimmy Holiday is the potential receiver to come on the show Wednesday. So schedule release and a potential interview with our new receiver, Jimmy Holiday. So it should be a good one.
Okay. Jimmy Holiday. Today, Nana Sherry's birthday. Nana Sherry, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Nana Sherry. Happy birthday to you. There you go. Hey, Nana. Everybody say Nana. So
happy 21st, Nana. Happy 21st.
So that's good. Linda Hunter said, did the Chiefs schedule get leaked?
No, only one game has been leaked so far. Not leaked. It was released today. It was the
Philly and Cowboys opening day, right?
Yep, and then we have the Friday game and the next day the Friday game. So not the first game of the year, not the opening kickoff, but the second opening kickoff. We'll be playing the Chargers in Brazil. So we got an international game to start the season out with on Friday.
Ooh, Brazil. Oh.
Which is funny to me that, I mean, we'll talk about the international games. Hopefully that's the only international game we have this year. But I do think it's interesting, JD, that the NFL last year when Green Bay and Eagles went there, they literally issued travel advisory warnings to not leave the hotel because it wasn't safe.
Yeah.
So it's not safe to have a game for players to leave the hotel. And why in the world are you having a game in a place that you deem as unsafe? I just think that's crazy. I get big on the international game stuff. They want to get that out there. They want to spread the game. But come on, we're doing. There's many other places that are safe places to do these games in. Why are we doing an area where the guys can't even go explore and be outside the hotel room?
I think what it is, because you always have a few knuckleheads or some people who wants to go out a little bit further than what you want them to. Okay, you want to have a good time. The thing is, if it's sanctioned and if it's protected by your staff, which the NFL does a good job on protecting the players, there's always going to be one guy who's like, "Hey man, let's take it right up here real quick, right, to the favelas or somewhere like that." And it's like, oh man, before you know it, they be like, "Hey man, where's Marcus and JD?" They like, I don't know. We seen them get in the taxi. They said they're gonna go up there to the favelas. What? I was like, and they think they're gonna be able to get away with it. So I think if you stress, do not leave because your life could be at risk, right? And it's just dirt, it's just crazy all over the world. Doesn't matter where it is, but you got to make sure, hey, keep your butt in the hotel room around here. Man, it makes $5, ain't it? No, sir. No, it ain't. You try to live for real. You're doing too much. You trying to get up there. So, and I'm sure there's some spots that I'm sure the people there would probably welcome you, would be nice. But yeah, stay away from it. Don't even think about it. Don't even think about it. So
Chad said P. Diddy is your lyrical name, JD.
They said P. Diddy said he went to a couple of those parties. Nah, I come in like, man, what that at? They said, man, P. Diddy flew him out there, man, to L.A. What? Yeah.
Chad says not going to play first game overseas. Not true because the Eagles played their first game in Brazil last year, and look what happened. They won the Super Bowl. So come on, Chad. Come on, Chad. And Brazil, too. So we're going the Eagles route from last year. So that's kind of nice.
Yeah.
Well, I guess it wasn't good for him, JD, because the Eagles did beat the Packers in Brazil last year. So maybe that's what he means.
Yeah. Said I hope the field is better than it was last year. Yeah, there was a talk about the field, wasn't it? It was horrible. But they tried to make, I don't know what it was, how they put it together, but I do remember there was an issue with the field. Tim McBride, you're right. Correct. So,
but and the important thing is we don't lose a home game for that. That's the Chargers' home game, so we don't lose a Arrowhead game. So that's good.
Gail Whiting says, appreciate you guys. Pray that I get through the weekend. So many tears being shed from my boys. Congratulations to you, Gail. Boys graduated high school. That's wonderful. It's a beautiful thing. So
congrats
enjoy
to
it.
the kiddos.
Yeah, I know it's tough, Gail. It's tough. Your boys and your girls graduating high school. That's a big step. It's a big step. So sometimes you got to see them grow up. Sometimes we hate to see it, but they got to. And the door's always open. But they'll come back. They'll come back to see Mom. They will. So enjoy it though.
For sure.
Fun show. Thank you both for your time. Mike, appreciate you, brother. Thank you for your time. I didn't really see too many questions. We didn't get too many questions tonight.
I think people are just contributing to the Sky Moore discussion. People love the Sky Moore debate.
Yeah. So I'm like, oh man, I'm out. I don't want to hear this. Here go JD and Marcus talk. Look, hey, They keep saying that over again. Look, we cheer for everybody that's on the squad until you're not here. And even when you go somewhere else, we still cheer for you because you was a Chief. That's how we feel about the kingdom and the love that we have for the players. So, I respect the guys that's out there. That's for sure, just doing it. So, push for all these guys to do well. Every single one of them. Doesn't matter what their name is, what number they are. If you put that jersey on, you wore this KC right here. Hey, man, we pushing for you, especially over at Chiefs Concerns. So, yep, once a Chief, always a Chief, except D Ford. Oh, which is y'all funny. Y'all crazy out here. That's a good one. That's a good one. D Hall, good people, man. D Ford, definitely good people. So, Gary Holland, appreciate it, man. So I'm going to say bye to everybody in here, man. Melly Matrix, my guy, appreciate it, man. Gary Holland, thank you so much. Richie Hall. G, have a few. Phone call. All right, I'm going through, so that was my music. Yep. Neff, good to see you. G-Pick, I already said that right there. Linda Hunter, thank you so much. About time. Hope everyone's doing well. About time. Well, now you're going to be Young Bourbon. There you go. I like that one. Young Bourbon, I do like. Okay. Young Bourbon Smasher. Stanley Moon. See, I believe we had the late Christmas game against Broncos and Chargers in Brazil opening week on Friday. Yep. Stanley Mooney. Appreciated my guy coming in. Who else? Richie Hall. Thank you, Richie Hall. Susan, sweetie, thank you so much. Neff, love you. Talk to you. Gail Whiting, again, enjoy yourself. Okay, it's going to be a wonderful weekend. Shedding the tears. It's beautiful tears, though. Tears of joy. Okay, a little bit of sadness, but joy. Okay, you're getting better, you're getting bigger. We still love you. If you get a little bit more time to yourself, you and your husband. I know y'all need a little bit more time. Right? So, Sim McBride, thank you so much. Sasha, good to see you as well. Kevin Mars, appreciate it, my brother. Nana Sherry, again, happy birthday to you. Nana Sherry. Trey L. 32nd birthday was Friday, man. Happy belated birthday, Trey L. Was last Friday. Hey, man, I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you had a good one, too. So, appreciate it, man. Laura Zingzer. What's up, Laura? Good to see you. Michelle Spence. Appreciate it, my guy. Good to see you. I'm the Brown in here. Who else we got? I see Pono Kawhi was in here. I said I'm the Brown already, didn't I? If I didn't, I'm Brown. I'm going to say it again. Stu. That joker was a joker. There's Stu. Yeah. Hippie Cypriot. Good to see you in here, Hippie. Who else we got here, man? Kevin Marsh, appreciate that contribution, sir. G-Pick 2. Sound like, is that the SNL? Is that Saturday Night Live?
Yeah.
Good night, everybody. Joe E is another one. Good to see you, Joe. Who else we got here? Oh, good. And the ladies, Justin Blackwell is in here. Ladies, if y'all didn't hear us earlier, we wish y'all happy belated Mother's Day. And so if y'all didn't hear us, we'll say it one more time. Damani Green Bean, appreciate it, my brother. Always good seeing you and hearing you. I said Pono Kawhi. Who else we got? Marcus. I bet you don't know where that's from. Zulu.
Spartacus. Come on, I know.
No, Marcus. That was from Eddie Murphy was in it. Now I just blanked my mind. I'm trying to do too many things at once. Mr. 93 Battle. Good to see you, man. I haven't turned that name in a minute. Teron Young. Good to see you, Teron. Let me see. Nafis Foster. What's up, man? That's it. Nafis slips in, man. Boomerang. I knew. I'm the Brown. Thank you, sir. Have you seen Boomerang, Marcus?
I think that might be one of the few Eddie Murphy movies I have not seen.
KC Colossus. That's a good one. The first one that came to me was John Witherspoon. I've seen your video of it.
Right.
Don't be whipped. Whoop that. Ray 028.
No, G, because it's a Mahomes shirt, not Adam Schefter shirt. I don't own an Adam Schefter shirt.
Kevin is in here, man. I think that's about it, brother. Dude, hey, listen, everybody. Hey, look, you know what it is. We didn't get to say hi to you or whatnot. Appreciate it or bye. We enjoy it like always, man. We'll come see us on Wednesday. We're gonna have a great show for you all. Come in with a couple of questions. All right, we want to go out here and address it. But we appreciate each and every one of you. That's the reason we do it, because we love you. You are family. Thank you so much. Happy birthday again, Nana. Appreciate it so much. Happy belated Mother's Day. Trey L., happy belated birthday to you too. Everybody else, y'all take care. We love each and every one of y'all. Be good to each other. Mark's my brother. I love you. I will see you. I will talk to you like always. Y'all stay up. We'll see y'all later.
See you Wednesday, everybody, for the schedule release show.
Yes, sir.
Love y'all. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out the best clips from Chief Concerns. And if you prefer to listen to the show, subscribe and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else you get your podcasts.